This isn't the first time this argument has come up about what do you do if you're in London. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a lot harder to make 20, 30k go far when property prices start at like 500,000 or 750,000 or even a million, depending on where you are in London. But it's very much like trying to find a reason not to take accountability. I know things are harder when you're starting out in London. I know things are harder when you're a first time buyer and your salary doesn't even cover the mortgage stress tests that you get when you are a first time buyer. That's the nature of the beast that we live in. You can either sit around moaning about it, finding reasons and rationales as to why you can't get started, or you can find deals or you can find ways to make it happen. It doesn't really matter where you are in the country, you have the same sorts of problems. The wages are much higher in London than they are in the north, so it is pretty relative. Albeit you can get properties for like 50k in some places in the north. But equally, if you manage to scrape and get on the ladder in London, the capital appreciation is going to have far many more zeros at the end of it. To find ways to make it happen. Now, you're never going to be able to save yourself into a position where you're going to be able to afford a deposit in London because property prices will increase over time faster than you can save. So you've got to go out there and be a bit entrepreneurial. Me personally, I would never ever buy my first property in London. I would go further afield. A job and you are tied to London, why not look further afield? Can you do that job for a different company or even the same company in a different part of the UK? You only have to be away for a year, 18 months, 2 years to go and buy your own property. I actually had to do something similar back in like 2006, 2007, because I couldn't afford a property in Norwich, even though we could get 100, 106, 110% mortgages at the time. I didn't have a large enough wage to cover what was needed even back in those days to buy a property in Norwich. So I took a promotion and it was like 40 miles away in a town where property prices were much cheaper. And I was able to buy something with a 106% mortgage that needed work doing to it. I was able to add significant value. I made every mistake under the sun. I overspent massively. I did not understand the market, but property is forgiven, especially when you buy below market value. And I was able to make enough money, more money than I would ever have earned in a year doing my job on that small move. And I actually only owned that property for a little over a year. 1 year of a little bit of sacrifice can make all the difference.